Stop, Alexa. Alexa, stop. Hello, Gavin Newsom. Now, I sent this to you. Well, you knew about this as well. And you also knew serial sightseeing, as well as my other two Zodiac books. And there they are, listening in to passwords, sign-ins, everything else. And you also knew that I poured in too much of this brand of oil into my truck, and AAA had to come pick me up. My friend Jonathan Musto came, and I had to get a tow to blow out all the extra oil. He said, always check the dipstick, and I didn't. I poured too much of it. Sometime shortly thereafter, one of Hartnell's minions put this in my truck. It was parked out on the street because we had resurfacing, and the exact same kind from O'Reilly's on South Rio Road, and there was no cap on it. I kept this because it's evidence as far as I'm concerned, and the manager Letty didn't want to talk about it. I gave her all three of my Zodiac books, and she's on the take with Hartnell. And anyway, I'm keeping this because there's a serial code on it, and it probably could be traced to the person who purchased it. Anyway, you knew this, and you got one of these puzzles. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Sigmund Freud, the young health spa massage parlor on Plants Road. Quite an artistry. Anyway, Brian Calvin Hartnell murdered Cecilia Ann Shepard at Lake Berryessa and then fabricated a ruse killer as his fall guy. You knew this. The hooded masked man never appeared at Lake Berryessa on September the 27th, 1969. On September the 28th, Hartnell and Sergeant Detective John Robertson conducted the official police interview at Queen of the Valley Hospital. NSO case 105907. Now a sequestered recording despite the Freedom of Information Act. And this silly pagan Southern Cross insignia, you knew that as well. I sent you two things to, let's get your address here. I sent it to this address here, and it said it would take a little longer this way. I sent it over a month ago, and also a thumb drive with all the information on it. And this number I haven't called because I'm tired of calling people who aren't ready for me. But I sent it there, and I emailed you as well because without any links, I mean attachments, because you wouldn't allow that. So I did that too, and you have not gotten back to me. Just another coward, I suppose. And this is my Zodiac wall. And this is my welcome mat. It's also the coffee cup I sent to Hartnell on Zazzle. his arrived shortly thereafter, and it was signed anonymous to the exact address on this one. This letter I sent him on 2018. And you knew that too. This is my artwork from Photoshop. Story of my love life. It's a little before St. Valentine's Day, but what the hell. Negative, spaced out. And my best friend in Bakersfield, and one of the best friends I've ever had, is Charlie Flores. And Charlie printed this. This was my design. And I even like his better. The nose is a little rounded more. It says, I am Spellman. Yeah. So I'm all in for him. And as for Liz Flint, I spent between lamination, ink, t-shirts, hats, books, well over $500. But that's a trifle compared to what Fred Castro hustled me out of for about $3,000 from the Ming Street Bank of America. I took cash out. I fell for it. He was a false friend who showed up around June of last year, because it was in May that I first contacted Greg McCreary and sent him emails, and I went on Facebook Messenger and goaded Hartnell with the first thing I said. He wouldn't accept my friend request, obviously, but I put down in the messenger, name the anonymous caller, to the dispatch operator. And you knew that Collins, Narlow, and Robertson, they're all dead, but they were corrupt, in on it. And Napa is taking another nap. And so I'm sick and tired of going back to Napa. I've been contacting them, and they're either still corrupt or too proud to admit they've got some dirty linen to make. And so I sent you those, and you have not gotten back to me, coward. And there it is, anyway. That's the oil, and that's the evidence. Jonathan Musto came down to, after I put too much oil in the, and didn't check the dipstick, it took about 2 hours of blowing all that smoke out. I had to get a AAA to take me to the Weibel Street service station, where they just blew it out. It took hours. And then just by some tip, who I don't know how, but this was right out in front while we were paving. We were having our parking lot paved, and I parked outside of there, and somebody did a Slim Jim, popped open my trunk, and poured this in, and just dropped it, as is. And I don't know who tipped him, but it just happened to be the same oil. That's one of Hartnell's games. Again, I said this to Letty, and she said, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I gave her all the Hartnell books, and she was in with him all along. So I want to take you around this is the coffee cup that Hartnell received and signed anonymous to that address in Redlands. And it's also my welcome mat. And I want to take you around my museum. This is one of my paintings. This is my personal one with my parents, June and Al Spellman. And there was one point where I went on a dating site, and some imposter said, you know, some of your relatives were going to wind up dead. I got it on my phone, and I did screenshots of all these things, and he said Albert M. Spellman, June E. Spellman, and they were already dead, but this numbskull must have gotten in here somehow to get that information. And there's some of my accolades, which I sent you as well. He has speed to burn in the 2 shorter freestyle events. Aside from his 22 flat in the 50, he has ripped off a 48 in the 100. Spellman, whose father, Albert, swam at Pawtucket West High School, won both the 50 and 100 freestyles at the EMAS South Sectionals and is the New England champ in the next 3. Next year, look for Spellman at one of 5 schools: Indiana, Harvard, Brown, Duke, or UMass. A National Honor Society member, he intends to study mechanical engineering. And there's the Jim Montgomery pool record and the Brian Spellman meet record at the Brown Interscholastics. And I won the New England title, and there's a picture of me. Attleborough's Brian Spellman. You have all this as well. That was the first one that put me on the map. And there's my proud to have flag. My sister Karen sent me all these awards and everything: Cub Scouts, Weblow's hat, and trophies, medals, ribbons, and everything else. And there's the letter from Brown University for my acceptance, and the prize winner, Governor J. Joseph Garrity, wanted to personally welcome me to Brown next year. I didn't go there. I went to Indiana instead. There I was fit. And that's the first time I came to California. That's my badge. Oops, excuse me. That's my badge. Okay. And now, before I run out of battery, till Jesus comes. It's a beautiful welcome mat. I don't say doormat at all. Cecilia was murdered by him, as well as the following people. Sherry Jo Bates, most likely, because she was in Riverside, close to where Hartnell works. David Arthur Faraday, Betty Lou Jensen, Darlene Ferrin, Michael McGough, who was her lover, survived, but is unreliable for his account of it. And Graysmith's been running interference for Hartnell with these silly-looking descriptions of a pervert and everything else, and Augustus Owsley, like an Augustus Owsley white window pane idiot savant on LSD, who doubles as a man who can choreograph sophisticated ciphers and deliver precise messages throughout San Francisco at precise locations, precise times, and precise messages to terrify San Francisco and move attentions away from Napa, where he murdered Cecilia. She was the only personal axe he had to grind. The others, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this, were all smokers. Betty Lou Jensen, Darlene Ferrin, Cecilia Ann Shepard, January 1st, 1947 to January 29th, 1969, till Jesus comes, and Paul Lee Stein. Okay, and there's the phony San Francisco Chronicle thing of victims, Hartnell and Cecilia Ann Shepard. And you got my books on that as well. So I'm fed up with this. And so this is going out as soon as I can to you. And here it is. And this is it. Why tell even one lie? And you had the whole interview. And so, hail to the chief. Thank you.